Illinois Real Estate Broker Practice Exam. Question 1. Casey signs an exclusive brokerage agreement and expects the broker to present offers and assist with negotiations. Which Illinois topic does this resemble during Quinn's Quincy Farm Parcel File Review? Option A. Minimum services and duties under brokerage agreements. Option B. A deed restriction created by neighbors. Option C. A mortgage acceleration clause. Option D. A tax appeal before the assessor. The correct answer is option A. Minimum services and duties under brokerage agreements. Illinois state-specific outlines test brokerage agreements, exclusive agreements, and minimum services. Deed restrictions, mortgage acceleration, and tax appeals involve different legal concepts rather than brokerage-service duties. Question 2. Blair is comparing loan terms and closing disclosures. Which federal lending framework is commonly tested with residential mortgage transactions? Option A. The Statute of Descent and Distribution. Option B. TRID and related TILA-RESPA disclosure rules. Option C. The rule against perpetuities only. Option D. A zoning variance issued by the City Council. The correct answer is option B. TRID and related TILA-RESPA disclosure rules. Residential mortgage questions often test TILA, RESPA, and integrated TRID disclosures that help borrowers compare costs and terms. The other choices deal with inheritance, property-law doctrines, or land-use approvals rather than consumer mortgage disclosure. Question 3. A rental property has NOI of $35,000 and a value estimate of $490,000. Approximately what capitalization rate is indicated during Logan's Belleville 2-flat building file review? Option A, 3.6%. Option B, 10.1%. Option C, 7.1%. Option D, 14%. The correct answer is option C, 7.1%. The capitalization rate is NOI divided by value, so $35,000 divided by $490,000 is about 7.1%. The other answers have the rate, add unsupported points, or invert the formula.
Stressed about your non-medical assistant exam? We can take non-medical assistant exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done.
Question 4. A managing broker supervising Avery discovers repeated advertising and trust-account mistakes. Which responsibility is most directly involved during Kendall's Chicago condominium unit file review? Option A. Recording deeds for every buyer. Option B. Issuing building permits. Option C. Approving zoning variances. Option D. Supervision of sponsored licensees and brokerage compliance systems. The correct answer is option D. Supervision of sponsored licensees and brokerage compliance systems. Managing and sponsoring brokers are responsible for supervision, training, and compliance controls for sponsored licensees. Recording deeds, issuing permits, and approving zoning variances are handled by other parties or government offices. Question 5. A property manager named Taylor collects rents, screens tenants, arranges maintenance, and accounts for owner funds. Which duty is most central during Harper's Springfield Townhome file review? Option A. Managing the property in the owner's interest while properly accounting for funds and records. Option B. Guaranteeing that every tenant will renew. Option C. Commingling all rents with personal funds. Option D. Ignoring fair housing laws during screening. The correct answer is option A. Managing the property in the owner's interest while properly accounting for funds and records. Property managers owe duties tied to the management agreement, owner instructions, legal compliance, and accurate accounting. They cannot guarantee renewals, commingle funds, or ignore fair housing requirements while screening tenants. Question 6. A buyer obtains a loan of $247,500 on a property appraised at $330,000. Approximately what is the loan minus value ratio during Jamie's Peoria small apartment building file review? Option A, 25%. Option B, 75%. Option C, 85%. Option D, 60%. The correct answer is option B, 75%. Loan minus to minus value is calculated by dividing the loan amount by the appraised value, $247,500 divided by $330,000, or about 75%. The other percentages confuse equity with LTV or use an incorrect numerator or denominator. Question 7. A brokerage wants to operate a virtual office location for Illinois consumers. Which compliance focus best fits the licensing outlined during Rowan's Naperville mixed-use storefront file review? Option A, avoiding all broker supervision because the office is online. Option B, replacing written brokerage agreements with website clicks only. Option C, registration, supervision, and public-facing brokerage compliance for virtual or branch operations. Option D, advertising as an unlicensed technology company. The correct answer is option C, registration, supervision, and public-facing brokerage compliance for virtual or branch operations. Virtual or branch operations still require appropriate brokerage supervision and compliance with licensing rules. Being online does not remove supervision, written-agreement, licensing, or advertising requirements. Question 8. A broker representing Logan receives confidential negotiating information. Which duty is most directly triggered? Option A, revealing all confidential strategy to the opposing party. Option B, changing the purchase price without permission. Option C, ignoring lawful client instructions. Option D, protecting confidential information unless disclosure is authorized or legally required. The correct answer is option D, protecting confidential information unless disclosure is authorized or legally required. Agency and brokerage duties include protecting confidential information while also making required disclosures, revealing strategy, changing terms without authority, or ignoring lawful instructions would violate core client-service duties.
Are you looking for non-medical assistant exam actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access non-medical assistant exam study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get non-medical assistant exam answer key today.
Question 9. A borrower pays 4 discount points on a $235,000 loan. How much do the points cost? Option A, $9,400. Option B, $4,700. Option C, $2,350. Option D, $10,400. The correct answer is option A, $9,400. 1 discount point equals 1% of the loan amount, so 4 points cost 4% of $235,000, or $9,400. The other figures use too few points, only 1 point, or add an unsupported amount. Question 10. A licensee knowingly misrepresents a material fact to induce a buyer to sign. Which licensing consequence is most relevant during Morgan's Champaign Lakefront Cottage file review? Option A, automatic zoning approval. Option B, disciplinary action for unprofessional or dishonest conduct. Option C, a mandatory title insurance payout. Option D, a tax prioration credit only. The correct answer is option B, disciplinary action for unprofessional or dishonest conduct. Knowing misrepresentation can trigger discipline because it harms consumers and violates professional standards. Zoning approval, title insurance payout, and tax prioration are unrelated remedies for this licensing misconduct. Question 11. A study question asks whether an interest is fee simple. What is the candidate being tested on during Taylor's Joliet Suburban Ranch home file review? Option A, the amount of commission owed to the broker. Option B, the mortgage interest rate. Option C, the nature and duration of rights held in real property. Option D, the required size of a residential disclosure form. The correct answer is option C, the nature and duration of rights held in real property. Estates and land describe the nature and duration of property rights. Commission, loan interest rates, and disclosure minus form size are separate topics and do not define the estate itself. Question 12. Annual property taxes are $3,480. and the seller owes the buyer a credit for 89 days using a 365-day year. Approximately how large is the credit during Riley's Aurora Commercial Suite file review? Option A, $290. Option B, $10. Option C, $1,697. Option D, $849. The correct answer is option D, $849. Daily proration divides $3,480 by 365 and multiplies by 89 days, giving about $849. The other choices use 1 month, 1 day only, or double the required prorated period. Question 13. A candidate is planning the broker exam schedule and wants to understand the Illinois minus specific portion. How is the state portion commonly structured in the current SCI bulletin during Avery's Evanston Farm Parcel File Review? Option A, 40 questions with 90 minutes allowed and a 75% passing score. Option B, 100 questions with 150 minutes allowed and a 70% passing score. Option C, 50 questions with 120 minutes allowed and a 74% passing score. Option D, 90 questions with 150 minutes allowed and a 75% passing score. The correct answer is option A, 40 questions with 90 minutes allowed and a 75% passing score. The Illinois broker exam has a separate state portion listed as 40 scored points, 90 minutes, and a 75% passing score. The 100 minus question 150 minus minute format describes the national broker portion. The 50 minus question 120 minus minute option reflects residential leasing, and the 90 minus question format applies to a different examination category. Question 14. A buyer wants to operate a retail shop in a residentially zoned property in Aurora. Which issue should be investigated before closing? Option A, whether the deed automatically changes zoning. Option B, whether zoning permits the intended use or whether an approval such as a variance is needed. Option C, whether the broker can override the ordinance. Option D, whether title insurance guarantees business income. The correct answer is option B, whether zoning permits the intended use or whether an approval such as a variance is needed. Zoning controls land use, so the buyer's intended use must be permitted or approved through the proper local process. A deed, broker preference, or title insurance policy does not automatically change zoning or guarantee business income. Question 15. A listing closes at $260,000 with a brokerage fee of 5.5%. What total commission is generated before any split? Option A, $7,150. Option B, $16,900. Option C, $14,300. Option D, $2,600. The correct answer is option C, $14,300. Commission is calculated by multiplying the sale price by the commission rate. $260,000 times 5.5% equals $14,300. The distractors divide the commission, use the wrong percentage, or calculate only 1% of the price. Question 16. Alex passed the Illinois broker examination but delayed the license application for more than a year. What is the likely exam minus related consequence during Hayden's Elgin condominium unit file review? Option A, the score remains valid permanently. Option B, the candidate becomes licensed automatically. Option C, only a name minus change form is required. Option D, the passing examination result may no longer be usable for licensure. The correct answer is option D. The passing examination result may no longer be usable for licensure. The SCI bulletin states that candidates must apply for licensure within 1 year after passing the appropriate examination. A permanent score, automatic licensure, or a simple name minus change form would not satisfy the application requirement after the score validity window has passed. Question 17. A business offers to find apartments for renters in exchange for a fee. Why might Illinois licensing law be implicated during Parker's normal townhome file review? Option A, rental minus finding services can involve regulated real estate activity when performed for compensation. Option B. Rental minus finding services are always exempt regardless of activity. Option C. Only sellers can trigger licensing law. Option D. The service becomes legal if no written records are kept. The correct answer is option A. Rental minus finding services can involve regulated real estate activity when performed for compensation. Rental minus finding and leasing minus related services may be regulated when performed for compensation. The activity is not automatically exempt, licensing law is not limited to sales, and failing to keep records does not cure an unlicensed activity issue. Question 18. An owner personally advertises and negotiates the sale of the owner's own commercial suite. Why is this usually treated differently from brokerage for others? Option A. Every owner must hold a broker license before signing a deed. Option B. Owners may generally sell or lease their own property without acting as licensed brokers for the public. Option C. The owner is automatically sponsored by the buyer's broker. Option D. The owner may collect commissions from other sellers without a license. The correct answer is option B. Owners may generally sell or lease their own property without acting as licensed brokers for the public. Real estate license laws typically regulate brokerage services performed for others, especially for compensation. An owner selling the owner's own property is not thereby representing the public as a broker, while licensing would be required to collect commissions or broker transactions for other owners. Stressed about your Illinois real estate exam? We can take Illinois real estate exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. A licensee knowingly misrepresents a material fact to induce a buyer to sign. Which licensing consequence is most relevant during Alex's Galesburg mixed-use storefront file review? Option A. Automatic zoning approval. Option B. Mandatory title insurance payout. Option C. Disciplinary action for unprofessional or dishonest conduct. Option D. A tax prioration credit only. The correct answer is option C. Disciplinary action for unprofessional or dishonest conduct. Knowing misrepresentation can trigger discipline because it harms consumers and violates professional standards. Zoning approval, title insurance payout, and tax prioration are unrelated remedies for this licensing misconduct. Question 20. Hayden posts a social media ad for a listing near Naperville using only a personal phone number and no brokerage identification. Which issue is most likely raised by Illinois advertising rules during Blair's Moline vacant lot file review? Option A. A licensee may advertise without any broker identification online. Option B. Only print advertising must identify a broker. Option C. Brokerage identification is unnecessary if the property address appears. Option D. Real estate advertising must identify the sponsoring brokerage in a compliant and not misleading way. The correct answer is option D. Real estate advertising must identify the sponsoring brokerage in a compliant and not misleading way. Illinois advertising expectations focus on protecting the public from misleading ads and making the sponsoring brokerage clear. Online ads are still advertising, and the property address or a personal phone number does not replace proper broker identification. Question 21. A commercial tenant pays base rent plus a share of property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Which lease type is most likely being described during Quinn's Quincy rental duplex file review? Option A. Net lease. Option B. Gross lease. Option C. Ground lease only. Option D. Life estate. The correct answer is option A. Net lease. A net lease shifts some or all operating expenses to the tenant in addition to base rent. A gross lease usually places expenses primarily on the landlord. A ground lease concerns land rental, and a life estate is an ownership interest rather than a lease minus payment structure. Question 22. A listing broker learns of a roof leak discovered after heavy rain before a buyer submits an offer. How should the issue generally be treated in an Illinois exam scenario during Sydney's Waukegan Lakefront Cottage file review? Option A. It may be hidden if the seller requests silence. Option B. A known material fact should be disclosed rather than concealed. Option C. It is never relevant once the property is listed as minus is. Option D. It must be disclosed only after the buyer obtains a loan. The correct answer is option B. A known material fact should be disclosed rather than concealed. Known material facts can affect a buyer's decision and should not be concealed. A seller's request, and as minus is label, or the timing of financing does not eliminate the broker's duty to avoid misrepresentation and disclose material information. Question 23. A settlement service provider offers a broker a hidden referral fee for steering buyers to that provider. Which federal concern is most likely during Logan's Belleville Suburban Ranch home file review? Option A. Fixture classification. Option B. Adverse possession. Option C. RESPA restrictions on kickbacks and unearned fees. Option D. The rectangular survey system. The correct answer is option C. RESPA restrictions on kickbacks and unearned fees. RESPA addresses prohibited kickbacks and unearned fees involving settlement services. Fixtures, adverse possession, and land survey systems are unrelated to hidden settlement minus service referral payments. Question 24. A residential seller in Illinois knows about past unsafe electrical wiring but leaves the disclosure report blank. What concept is most directly tested during Kendall's Chicago Commercial Suite file review? Option A. The buyer's duty to ignore all seller statements. Option B. The lender's exclusive duty to inspect the property. Option C. The appraiser's authority to waive statutory disclosures. Option D. The seller's disclosure obligations for known material defects. The correct answer is option D. The seller's disclosure obligations for known material defects. Illinois residential disclosure rules focus on the seller's disclosure of known material defects. Buyers still may inspect, but that does not make seller disclosure meaningless. Lenders and appraisers do not waive statutory disclosure duties. Question 25. A buyer includes a sale minus home contingency in a purchase agreement. What is the main purpose of that clause during Harper's Springfield farm parcel file review? Option A. It gives the party a contractual condition that must be satisfied or waived under the agreement. Option B. It automatically gives the broker ownership of the property. Option C. It removes the need for mutual assent. Option D. It makes all deadlines meaningless. The correct answer is option A. It gives the party a contractual condition that must be satisfied or waived under the agreement. A contingency creates a condition that can affect whether the parties must proceed or may terminate under stated terms. It does not transfer ownership to the broker, replace mutual assent, or eliminate all contractual deadlines.